this is what the question says. So according to the question, we have a trader, right? So maybe a trader. So what I normally do here is that you can always replace this trader by you, right? So maybe let's say you, so that you can see exactly what is happening. Now you sold an article for this is an article that is going to be 1,725, right? So you can always go back and go and check the question for better understanding. Then this article you sold it for an amount of that is 525 and then 000, right? So that the currency is not necessarily the matter here, but in a text make sure that you bring the currency. So here we are dealing with cedis here, so you may change the currency if you wish. Now you are selling 1,750 articles for what this 5 to 5,000, right? So that is what the question says. And then you made a profit of 20%, right? So 20% profit on all this, right? So you made a profit of 20%. Now the first question here says that you should calculate the cost of what each article, right? So the cost of each, that is one. So the cost of each article is exactly what you are going to determine, right? So what the total article was 1,750. Now one thing you must know here is that you must always know that the cost, right? So let me change the pen here. So the cost of what anything that you are selling, the cost price here, right? So the cost price of this article in this case is always equivalent to what 100%. Is that okay? So that is the amount that is the baseline. That is the amount that you are paying. So if you go to the market, this marker costs you maybe let's say $5, and that is exactly 100%. Is that okay? So that's the cost price. Now if you are making a profit of what 20% out of that, then it means that you're selling, right? So the selling price here, so the selling price, because the question clearly says that you are making a profit of 20%, yeah, here in this case. Is that okay? So making a profit of 20, it means that the selling price, that is, if this is 100% the cost price, that is going to be 100 plus all the profit that you make, right? So that is, so here we are going to have 120% since you are making a profit, right? So this one has to be a little bit higher than what the cost price. Is that okay? So that is just a very simple scenario, then straightforward. Now remember the question. The question is we should determine the cost of each, that is the one article, right? Just one article. Now what are we going to do? Now you sold it for this amount, so that tells me that, or maybe if you agree with me, so we have about 120% here. That is going to be 5 to 5 and then 0 0. Is that okay? Since you made a profit of 20%, then you sold it out of this amount here. So 120. So what do you take 100? Right? So 100% is going to be. That is the question. Have you seen how simple we narrate everything here step by step? So the same thing, you have to do the same thing anytime you come across questions like this. Now you know how to solve this. So if you have 120 and that is equal to 5 to 5 and then 0 0, what do you take 100 is going to be? So here you can replace it by a variable, so let's say x, right? So you know how to do that, right? So you cross multiply and then you divide that. Is that okay? So here we are going to have 100 and then multiply by that is the 5 to 5 and then 0 0, right? Everything divided by what 120. If you don't know how to solve this thing, so why don't you let's do that clearly. So from this point here you have what 120 multiplied by the x, so 120 multiplied by the x, and that is going to be 100 multiplied by that. Okay, so that is what 5 to 5 and then 0 0 0 and then multiply by what 100. So what are we looking for? We just want to determine the values of this x. So you have to divide both sides by 120 and then divide it by 120. So this one cancel out, so you have your x to be equal to, pause the video and do the calculation along. Is that okay? So never afraid of making any mistakes. So once you are making a mistake, you correct yourself and then you proceed. If you have any questions, make sure that you comment in the comment section along. So this is what I had for the cost price of what 11750. Is that okay? So 1750, the total number of articles sold, and this is the cost. Now the question says you determine the price of one, only one. So what are you going to do? You must divide this one by 1750 to determine the cost of only one article. Don't forget the currency as well, right? So here we are dealing with this currency. Is that okay? So dividing that by that, so that's going to be the cost of one article. What do you think that should be? So I had an amount of 250, right? So 200, if you divide that by 10, that should give you 250. So this is going to be the cost of one each, or maybe say, let's say each article. Is that okay? So that's very simple and straightforward. Now the second part of the question, it says that according to the question, it says that if he wanted 45% profit made on the cost price, so maybe if he wanted, so instead of he, so let's replace that by you, right? So if you wanted 45% profit on the cost price of the item, so here is the final part. How much should you have sold each what each of the article, right? So how much you would have sold each of the article. That is what the question is asking. So we want to know the selling price. How much are you going to sell the article in order to make a profit of 45%? That is what the question is saying. Is that okay? Now perfect, we know that the cost, we already know that the cost price here, that is always equal to 100%. So if you want to make this profit, then it's being assuming that you're selling, it must not even assume, it must be that your selling price should be equal to, you want to make this profit. Is that okay? That is a good 100 plus 45. This is the profit that you want to make. This is how much you bought it. That is the cost price, and you want to make this profit. That is going to be 145. So this is the percentage that you have to sell the article in order to make a profit of 45%. So from the previous part, we know that the cost price of each, that's what the question is asking here. So how much should he have sold each? That is very important. So each meaning that one. So pay close attention to that. Is that okay? Each, so one. So the price of the one from the previous part was 250, right? So 250 and this amount here. Now if the cost price of one, that is equal to 250, what do you think the selling here, the selling is going to be? That is what matters here, right? In order to make a profit of a 45%. So okay, just like the previous part here, we have 100 and that is equal to 250, and then what do you think? 145 is going to be what? Is that okay? So this is very simple and straightforward. Once again, if you bring in any variables here, let's say a, so we have what one. So from here, from this part here, you have 100 multiplied by a, that is going to be 250, and then multiply by 145. Is that okay? So what are we looking for? We are looking for a, so that's going to be 250, and then multiply by what? 145. Everything divided by what? 100. Does it make sense? So what do you think will be the values of the a? So according to my calculation here, I had a to be equal to this currency here. So that's a 362 and then 0.5, right? So if you're having any different answer, let's hear from you in the comment section below. So this is how much you have to sell one article in order to make a profit of 45% on each, right? So if you get some value from this video, why don't you subscribe to the channel for more content like that? So once you're able to understand the numbers form for this type of question, anything that comes in terms of a variable or letters, you should be able to interpret it step by step in order to gain a very insight of the question.